I've been spending wild nights with your business partner for months. It's liberating to tell you." That's how she said it, with that twisted smirk on her face and a damn glass of wine in her hand. Like she was proud of it. Like she'd finally unlocked some achievement on her personal game of betrayal. Her name's Brittany, and once upon a time, I thought she was everything I ever wanted. Blonde, sharp, ambitious, sexy in that way that made other men jealous I had her. But that night, as she leaned back in her chair in our home, my home, I saw who she really was. And it wasn't just the affair. It was the thrill in her voice. The sick joy in knowing she was telling me something meant to destroy me. I didn't say anything for a second. I just watched her. The red dress she wore, the one I bought her last Christmas, now looked like the costume of a villain. My hands were shaking under the table, but my face stayed calm. Still, cold. She took that silence and ran with it. "Why aren't you angry?" she asked, swirling the wine. That's when I leaned forward, met her eyes, and said, "Because your lover doesn't know his company now belongs to me, and also his beautiful wife." Her wine glass stopped mid-sip. Her face froze. And that was the moment I'd been waiting for. Let me take you back a bit. 3 weeks before that night, I noticed Brittany started locking her phone. At first, I brushed it off. I mean, who doesn't these days? But then she started going on these yoga retreats every weekend. Always with her friend Tina. Always coming back glowing and strangely, too relaxed. I asked her about it once, and she laughed, too hard. Said I was being insecure. I've never been insecure. I'm Tyler Jacobs, CEO of JX Tech, a company I built from scratch. But when you've shared a bed with someone for 5 years, you know the way they breathe in their sleep. You know when their rhythm changes. It was a Tuesday afternoon when I finally caught something. She left her MacBook open, careless. I wasn't even trying to snoop. I was going to airdrop her a file. But there it was. A message thread with Nathan, my business partner. My best friend for 10 years. The man I built my empire with. And the messages? They weren't just flirty. They were dirty. Explicit. She talked about things she'd never even considered doing with me. Called him daddy. Told him she loved sneaking around. That it made her feel alive. Said I was boring, predictable, and clueless. I felt something crack inside me. But I didn't rage. I didn't cry. I did what CEOs do. I strategized. The next morning, I met with my legal team. Turns out Nathan had been playing fast and loose with some of the contracts. Left himself vulnerable. All I needed was leverage. And now, I had it. I told my lawyers, I want full control. Quietly. Meanwhile, I played the perfect husband. I kissed Brittany goodnight. Let her go on her fake weekend getaways. Even made dinner plans. I needed that dinner. I needed the moment. The finale. And when she said it, "I've been spending wild nights with your business partner for months," and smiled like she was finally free, I hit her back with the truth that crushed her smug little soul. "Your lover doesn't know his company now belongs to me, and also his beautiful wife." Yeah, I didn't just take the business. I took Vanessa, Nathan's wife. A real woman. One who'd been suspecting the affair just like I had. We'd been quietly planning together, slowly pulling the rug from under them both. She hated betrayal even more than I did. When Brittany finally found her words again, her voice cracked. "You're lying." I stood up slowly. Calm. Cold. Am I? I pulled out the folder from the briefcase beside me. This is the new ownership agreement. Signed, sealed, and filed. As of this morning, Nathan has no claim. And Vanessa? Well, she's staying in my guest house right now. Said she needs some peace. Brittany's face twisted. She went pale, then flushed red. "You're insane." "No," I said, buttoning my blazer. "I'm just not boring anymore, right?" And I walked out of our house. Left her sitting at that table with her wine, her lies, and her shattered little illusion of control. But that was only the beginning. Because when scorned men rise, they don't just burn the bridge. They buy the damn river. I walked out of the house that night and didn't even look back. The silence behind me was louder than any scream. I didn't need to hear her cry, if she even did. Brittany was too proud for that, or too broken to know she was already lost. I drove straight to Vanessa's place. Well, our place now. Technically my guest house, but she'd made it look like a magazine cover within a week. Candles lit. Soft jazz playing. The smell of fresh baked bread in the air. It was the kind of home Brittany never cared to create. Vanessa opened the door in a white robe and a glass of wine in her hand. She smiled the second she saw my face. "Did you tell her?" she asked. I nodded, loosening my tie. Every word. She didn't see it coming. Vanessa let out a soft, satisfied breath. Good. That lying skank deserved it. I sat on the couch, and for a few seconds, I let myself exhale. The pressure, the planning, the secrecy, it all weighed heavy until that moment. But Vanessa? She knew exactly how to keep it together. After all, she'd been living with betrayal too. Nathan had been cheating on her for over a year. She first caught on when he started coming home freshly showered late at night. The man never worked out, but suddenly he had a gym bag in the trunk. Then came the unexplained expenses, the weekend investor retreats that never made it to the calendar. She followed him once, took pictures, showed me everything. I didn't know it was with my wife, I'd said when she brought the photos. I didn't know it was with my husband's best friend, she'd replied. And that's where it began. Two betrayed spouses, united by pain, plotting revenge not out of rage, but with precision. We spent weeks gathering proof. Emails, messages, flight bookings. Then we hit him where it hurt. Nathan didn't just hand me control willingly. He thought we were preparing for a merger. He signed documents under the belief that he'd be CEO of an expanded empire. I made sure to throw in some legal jargon he'd never understand. And his mind was too distracted by Brittany's perfume to focus. By the time he realized, everything was out of his hands. Bank accounts? Frozen. Key clients? Gone. Staff? Resigned. His office? Locked. I'd orchestrated it down to the hour. The cherry on top? I sent him a bottle of the wine he and Brittany used to drink, 2008 Merlot, and a note that read, "You made her scream. I made her cry. Now I own everything that ever made you feel like a man." That was 2 days before the dinner. And Brittany? She still had no idea about the depth of it. Not just the business loss, not just the betrayal, but how publicly her secret was about to become very, very exposed. Because I didn't plan on keeping this quiet. You see, cheating destroys more than just trust. It poisons your sense of reality, makes you doubt every smile, every compliment, every kiss. I'd kissed Brittany the morning after she came home from screwing Nathan in a hotel room. She told me she loved me, with that same mouth. And I believed her. That's the part that stays with you. But now I had power again. And this time, I wasn't going to be quiet about it. Tomorrow, we'd go to war. Because Brittany was about to find out the second phase of my plan. She wasn't just going to lose her marriage. She was going to lose everything she thought made her untouchable. The next morning started quietly. Too quietly. I was in my office sipping coffee when Brittany stormed in like a tornado in heels. She didn't knock, just slammed the door open and stood there, seething. Her hair was wild, makeup smeared, eyes red, but not from crying. From rage. "You think you're clever, don't you?" she hissed. I looked up calmly, put the coffee down, and leaned back in my chair. "I know I am," I said. She marched over and slammed both hands on my desk. "You embarrassed me. Do you know how it felt when I got home and realized I had nothing left? My cards, frozen. My phone cut off. The car, you took the damn car. My car," I corrected. "And your cards were on my account. Your phone was on my plan. You didn't lose anything, Brittany. You never had it." Her nostrils flared, and I could see the panic building beneath the surface of her fury. "What did you do to Nathan?" she asked, her voice trembling now. "He won't answer my calls." I stood slowly, walked around the desk, and leaned in close enough for her to smell the calm on me. "He's probably too busy packing his things. HR escorted him out of the building this morning. His office is being cleared out." She laughed bitterly. "You're bluffing. This is insane. I'll sue you." "For what?" I raised an eyebrow. "For being a manipulative cheater who thought screwing her husband's business partner would end well." Then I pulled out the folder. Inside were photos, screenshots, hotel receipts, even surveillance footage. Everything she thought was her dirty little secret, printed and documented, neatly arranged in chronological order. Her face drained of color. "I had private security follow you after that weekend in Miami," I said, handing her the folder. "Turns out you're not great at covering your tracks." She opened it, flipping through each page with shaking hands. She stopped at one photo, Nathan's hand on her thigh in the back of a town car. Her wedding ring clearly visible. "You documented everything," she whispered. "Of course I did. You broke our vows, Brittany. I broke your world." I expected her to scream, to cry, maybe even collapse. But Brittany wasn't built like that. She didn't have shame. She had ego. "You think this makes you better than me?" she said, standing tall. You think any of this makes you a man? No, I said. But it makes me free. Free of pretending. Free of loving someone who lied every time she looked me in the eye. She laughed again, sharper this time, more unstable. Well, guess what? She snapped. It wasn't just Nathan. There were others. Bartenders. Clients. That personal trainer you hired me last summer? Yeah, him too. She threw that line at me like a grenade. But I didn't flinch. Because I already knew. Vanessa had told me weeks ago. She had tracked Brittany's spending habits, found strange charges at hotels all over the city. A few calls confirmed what I had suspected. Nathan wasn't the only one. He was just the most convenient. Brittany's betrayal wasn't an accident. It was a pattern, a personality. She never loved me. She loved my lifestyle, my status, the illusion. I nodded slowly. Thank you, I said. She blinked. For what? For reminding me you were never worth the pain. I opened the door. She stood there a moment longer, then stormed out, heels clicking like gunshots on the marble floor. That was the last time she ever stepped foot in my office. But it wouldn't be the last I'd hear of her. Because that evening, she did something reckless. And suddenly, I wasn't just dealing with a liar. I was dealing with someone dangerous. I should have known Brittany wouldn't go down quietly. By the time night fell, I was back at the guest house, unwinding with a glass of whiskey. Vanessa was upstairs, probably reading. She kept things calm, elegant, even now. I had just started to relax when my phone buzzed. It was a notification from the security system at my main house. Motion detected, 10:42 p.m. I opened the app and stared at the footage. Brittany, in a black hoodie. She was outside, pacing like a lunatic near the garage. Then she pulled out her phone and started filming. And that's when it hit me. She was building a story. Sure enough, a few minutes later, a clip appeared on her Instagram story. Just shaky footage of our driveway and a dramatic caption. I gave him everything. He threw me away. This is what abuse looks like when you don't have bruises. I froze. The audacity was breathtaking. Then came the texts. First from Greg, my lawyer. She just posted about you. You need to respond immediately. Then from my assistant, Lori. Tyler, she's tagging news outlets. She's calling you controlling and emotionally manipulative. This could go viral. I sat on the couch, the screen's glow flickering like a warning light on my face. And still, no panic. No rage. Just a deep, controlled breath. She was trying to burn me on the way down. But I had built fireproof walls. I called Greg. Let her talk, I said. You're sure? Yeah. Just prep the cease and desist. Tomorrow morning. Let her dig deeper tonight. Because here's the thing. Brittany was all impulse, no foresight. She thought slandering me online would gain sympathy. She had no idea I had already briefed PR, HR, and our legal teams. Every time she tried to fabricate an accusation, it had been met with timestamps, proof, and witnesses. I'd been preparing for weeks. War doesn't start when the first shot is fired. It starts when the first strategy is drawn. Still, I couldn't sleep that night. Not because I was afraid, but because I realized just how far she'd go to protect her image. Not her marriage. Not her dignity. Just her reputation. Her follower count. Vanessa came down around midnight and sat beside me. She's unraveling, she said gently, watching me. I know. Do you regret any of it? I paused. Thought about it. I regret not seeing her clearly sooner. Vanessa nodded. Then she did something I didn't expect. She held my hand. You're not alone in this, she said. And that's when it hit me. This whole time, I thought I was acting alone, executing revenge like some cold mastermind. But I wasn't. Vanessa had been right there. Strong. Focused. With her own scars. We were both survivors of the same storm. And now, the woman who betrayed me was trying to start a wildfire. But I wasn't just ready for it. I was holding the extinguisher in one hand and her secrets in the other. Because the next day, I was going to release something Brittany never saw coming. She wanted drama? Fine. I was going to give her a headline. One she could never erase. The next morning, Brittany woke up to a storm she didn't control. She thought she was setting the narrative. That she'd paint herself as the heartbroken wife, abandoned by her cold, powerful husband. But when she logged in to see how her post was trending, she found something else entirely. I uploaded a video. Just 2 minutes long. But it was all I needed. The video started with Brittany laughing. Her laugh, that wicked, cocky laugh, taken from one of the many private recordings I had captured with home surveillance she had long forgotten about. In the background, her voice echoed. Honestly, I've been juggling Nathan and 2 others. Tyler has no idea. I could lie to him in my sleep. Cut to her words, clear as crystal, bragging to someone on a call. I'm not in love with Tyler. I'm in love with the lifestyle. The yacht, the black card, the attention. Tyler, he's just the dumbass who pays for it. No commentary, no music, no fancy edits. Just Britney, exposing herself. Within 30 minutes, the clip had over 100,000 views. Comments exploded. Women and men both dragging her through the mud, calling her a narcissist, a manipulator, a disgrace. Even the gossip blogs picked it up. CEO's wife exposed herself in leaked audio. One headline read, "She called me 6 times that morning. I didn't answer." Then she texted, "Britney, you're destroying me. Take it down." Me. "You started this war, remember?" She had no idea that legally, I was in the clear. Our prenup gave me full discretion over media protection in case of public disputes. Ironically, she signed it thinking I'd be the one to mess up. Instead, she gave me every weapon I needed. She posted again, this time trying to cry on camera. But people weren't buying it. Too late. Too fake. Then Nathan chimed in. Yeah, that clown finally showed his face. He posted a long-winded apology on his business profile about stepping away from the company, claiming he needed time to heal. But he didn't mention Britney once, because Vanessa had already filed for divorce and taken half of his assets. And I made sure the other half was just legal dust, nothing real to grab. That day, I walked into the office to a standing ovation. The staff had seen the drama unfold online. They knew Britney. They hated Britney. She'd treated them like dirt for years, flaunting my money and making demands like she ran the place. Now they saw the king take his throne back. But beneath the victory, I felt something else. Not joy, not triumph, just stillness. The kind of stillness you feel after a long, brutal storm. Your house is still standing, but everything around it looks different. The world feels quieter, colder. Vanessa called around lunch. She just tried to get into my building, she said calmly. Did you call security? They already turned her away. I just thought you'd want to know. Of course Britney would go to Vanessa. She'd want to scream, to blame, to beg maybe. But the truth was, she'd burned every bridge. And now she was on an island, all alone. I hung up and sat in silence for a while. Because that's when it really started to hit me. The war was almost over. But the damage? That would stay with all of us forever. 2 days passed. 2 very quiet, eerie days. No phone calls. No new drama. Britney had gone radio silent. Part of me wanted to believe it was over, that she'd finally realized she couldn't win. But if there's one thing I learned about Britney, it's that silence isn't surrender. It's the sound she makes when she's planning something worse. I was right. On the 3rd morning, I opened my front door and found a box on the porch. No name. No return address. Just a white box tied with a black ribbon. I stared at it for a long second. My instincts screamed. I called security, had them scan it, check for tracking or hidden devices. Nothing. It was safe. But what was inside? I opened it slowly. Inside, a flash drive and a handwritten note. If you want to know what your precious Vanessa is really like, press play. I stood there, fingers tightening around the flash drive like it was a trigger. I didn't want to believe Britney could drag Vanessa into this. But at the same time, if Britney had anything, even a sliver of something damaging, she'd use it. I plugged the drive into my laptop. There was only one file. I clicked. It started with Vanessa. On a phone call. Her voice low, almost whispering. Yes, I'm staying close to him. Of course. He's vulnerable right now. I'll get what I need. Then, silence. Then her voice again. Once this is all over, the company will be mine. And so will the beach house. The screen went black. I sat there. Frozen. No context. No dates. Just those damning words. My mind raced. Was it fake? Manipulated? Or real? I didn't want to believe it. But Britney was smart. Twisted, but smart. She knew exactly what to attack. Trust. The one thing I thought I still had with Vanessa. And now? I didn't even know what was real anymore. I called Vanessa. No answer. I texted her. Need to talk. Urgently. She responded 5 minutes later. Come by. I drove to the guest house with a knot in my gut. The same feeling I had when I first found out about Britney. That cold, sharp twist that tells you, you're about to lose something again. Vanessa opened the door like nothing was wrong. Hey, she said, stepping aside. You okay? I walked in without a word, pulled out the flash drive, and handed it to her. She stared at it, then at me. What is this? Just watch. I waited while she plugged it in, watched her face as her own voice played back to her. She didn't blink, didn't flinch. When it ended, she stood there, holding the desk with both hands. That's not real, she said softly. Tyler, that's not real. Then explain it. She turned to me, eyes wide, desperate. That's from a conversation I had with my lawyer. I was venting. I was angry. I was sarcastic. He said if I played things right, maybe I'd get the house. I laughed and said that. It was sarcasm. You have to believe me. I looked at her, trying to read between her panic and her pain. Was this the truth? Or just another layer of betrayal? I don't know what to believe anymore, I admitted. She stepped closer. I'm not Brittany, she said, and I never will be. But if you can't trust me now, then maybe she wins after all. That hit me hard, because she was right. This was Brittany's endgame. Not to win me back, not to save face, but to ruin whatever good was left in my life. To make me afraid to trust again. To make me her, bitter, alone, and poisoned by paranoia. I stepped back, needing space, needing air. I need time, I said. Vanessa nodded, holding back tears. Take all the time you need, but don't let her turn you into someone you're not. I left, drove around for hours, because even after all the wins,